Guys, welcome back to Iris After Hours. I'm here with my Papa Rolland.
Hey, you have grey hair too.
I know. Hopefully I'm getting wise. My son, you know what my son told me the other day? He goes, "Daddy, you got grey hairs." And he went like this, and he went, "Oh, does that mean you're going to die?" And he went crying off to his mummy. "Daddy's going to die. Daddy's going to die. No, it's okay." So I may have to dye my hair soon.
You know, I had a professor in school. They were well-known PhD professors in New Testament, lower criticism, Greek manuscripts.
Lower criticism, what's that?
Well, that's the study of the actual original manuscripts.
Oh,
we're not talking about
wow.
interpretation and theology. We're talking about the
original,
the original physical stuff.
Wow.
Higher criticism is all the interpretation and hermeneutics and everything. But anyway, when we started asking hard questions, they said, "Look, I don't have the right hair color for theology. You have to be old and gray to know anything theologically." So they're just Greek scholars. So we're getting there.
I'm getting there. Come on. So this is good. Come on.
This is good. Although I'm afraid I'm going downhill. I'm making a lot of progress. I know less than last year.
What did you say when you got in? Yeah, you know less now than you did before.
Yeah, that's wisdom.
Is that something? Is that really real, Roland? Do we need? Because I feel like that the more I go on in life.
Well, young preachers think they know something. They're all eager to preach, get invited everywhere, have influence.
Yes.
When you get old, you realize, hey, there's some things I don't understand.
Like a lot. Like my own life.
Until you finally get to the point where you go, "Oh, I don't want to say anything unless I'm convinced it's God."
Yeah. Wow. The fear of the Lord.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Because you find out you have a long ways to go.
It's so true, isn't it? And even Paul was like that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
By the end of his life, he's saying, "I'm the greatest of all sinners." Like just that awareness of our poverty of spirit. Gosh.
Well, he was especially referring to that early period in his life when he hated God and he hated Christians and he hated Jesus.
Killed them.
Hated Jesus, basically. But he was zealous. He was super zealous, but wrong. Which is a big lesson in itself.
Yeah.
Just being zealous doesn't mean you're on the right track.
Wow.
Being all fired up about a cause and ready to go and doesn't mean you're right necessarily.
Wow. Right. Righteousness. Does righteousness mean right? Being right? That you're on the right track?
First of all, righteousness is more valuable than these outward signs and wonders everybody wants.
Wow.
And it's a bigger miracle. It's more impossible.
And that's a whoa.
Actually, a whole lot
T-shirt.
more.
Righteousness is more impossible than miracles.
Yeah, actually.
Put that on a T-shirt and send it to me.
A whole lot more people are doing signs and wonders than they are being righteous.
Wow.
I just thought that.
That's so good.
Yeah, and actually, righteousness is not just a bunch of rules that you're trying to obey.
No. It's a heart.
It's a person. It's not just my part. It's not my ideas. It's not my effort. It's not what I'm trying to be. It's not what I succeed at. It's a person. No Jesus, no righteousness.
Whoa. Now that's a T-shirt. No Jesus, K-N-O-W, righteousness. I like that.
Scripture says he is.
Is that original? Is that yours? Can I quote?
No, I keep reading the book. That's my trouble.
Okay. God. So don't put Rolland Baker under that quote, put God.
New Testament says he has become our wisdom, our sanctification, and you can extend that list, therefore, to everything. Our initiative, our joy, our creativity, our enthusiasm, our energy. He's it. He's our life. These aren't just goals and ideals and projects and aspirations. What is Christianity, in fact? It's not an ethical system, not a moral system. It's not an effort to fix everything. It's not a... What is it, actually? Is it a code for good living? Is it a plan to create a good community? Is it... No, it's a person.
Wow.
Christianity is not about Jesus. It is Jesus.
Whoa! That is another T-shirt. I don't know how many you're up to now. But Christianity is not about Jesus. It is Jesus. I think you put Rolland Baker under that one, okay?
Yeah.
And send me that one. I think in black with white writing.
That's righteousness. You don't get anywhere by trying to be righteous. God's the only good person in the universe. So unless he gets inside you somehow, unless he sneaks in there,
Yes.
you're not going to be righteous.
Oh my
If
gosh.
you get down deep to your deepest motivations, you won't be righteous.
Exactly. Because we're corrupt even at the deepest levels, aren't we, in our motivations?
Yeah,
and that's really he's living in
and
there.
we don't get fixed apart from Jesus. We get fixed when he moves in and sits on the throne of our heart.
Whoa! We don't get fixed apart from Jesus. That's another t-shirt. I think this is going to be the record for t-shirts, this podcast. Whoa! I can feel that right now. Guys, I'm just feeling like this is, the heavens just open with this. And I'm receiving this now. Are you receiving this? I'm receiving just Jesus being on the throne of my life fully. And just him coming into all those areas. Wow.
He's not waiting for us to cooperate. He
No.
makes us cooperate. He changes our hearts.
Wow.
So the question is, are we waiting on him or is he waiting on us?
And Roland, that's...
But it gets complicated because the scripture also says he's patient. He doesn't want anyone to be lost. So he's patient with us.
Oh, his patience is
But
incredible.
behind that, he is at work, taking his time.
Yeah.
It's one thing about God. He's not in a hurry. Have you noticed?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. The amount of time he gives you is crazy.
John Wesley said once, hurry's not of the devil. It is the devil.
Whoa. Hurry is the devil. That's so true.
But as a father of four, what do you have to say about that?
I'm living in the devil's territory. Oh my gosh, trying to get my kids to school in the morning. I'm going, Dad, you're rushing me. No, I'm not. Well, actually, I am rushing you. Sorry, boys. Yes.
So
But
that's my
hurry.
first definition of heaven. Nobody's in a hurry.
Oh my gosh. First definition of heaven. Nobody's in
That's
a hurry.
among 1,000
T-shirt.
other first definitions.
Rolland Baker, okay? This is another t-shirt right now. We're going for the record. What? No one's in a hurry. My first definition of heaven, no one's in a hurry. Wow. Imagine if Jesus really came to New York City, man. Everyone would just go, whoa, New York would change. The sidewalks of New York
Oh,
would
hey,
change.
you know what
man.
city makes New York feel slow and sleepy? Hong Kong.
Oh, no way, yeah.
Oh, yeah. New York was dead. Midnight in New York, hardly anyone's on the street. It's dead.
Yeah.
In Hong Kong, the street markets break out. The restaurant tables get set up at midnight. They're warming up at midnight.
That's crazy.
The streets are as noisy at 3 in the morning as 3 in the afternoon.
How many years were you there?
4,
4 years.
plus a lot of quick visits.
Yeah. And you speak the language, eh? Is it Mandarin or
I used to.
Cantonese?
Well, it used to be a tribal language in
did it?
southwest China. Then it was Cantonese. Then it was Mandarin. Then my parents forced me to learn English.
Can you believe this guy? You had to get forced to learn English. How old? At 5
It was
or
terrible.
6?
It was so
How old were
embarrassing.
you?
I had to speak to my own sisters in English. That was so embarrassing.
How old was this?
5.
5. Imagine
6.
being forced to learn English at 5 and 6.
But when you're little, you learn languages quickly, and then you forget them quickly. So,
Yeah.
bummer.
Yeah. Come on. Gosh.
But I'm learning Australian.
You are. You're just in Australia recently, weren't you? You love
Anyway,
Australia.
what were we talking about?
We were talking about righteousness, and we were talking about Jesus coming into all those parts of you, and just it's not what you do in your effort.
Well,
it's
he has
him.
to take over.
Yeah.
Now, everybody wants to follow Jesus, right? Christians.
Yes.
They want to follow him. They
Yep.
want to do what he did and so forth. But how much free will did Jesus have?
Well, he said, "I only do what I see the Father doing."
Yeah, well, in the sense that he chose to delight in his Father's will.
Yeah.
He does. But he only did exactly what his Father told him to do.
Yeah.
Did he say, "Hey, Dad, I'm getting kind of tired of this. Could I have a break this weekend in Lebanon? I'd like to hang out a little, get some, Middle Eastern food." And he spent his whole life exactly on track, exactly according to his Father's will. And here we are trying to take over. Plan our lives, discover ourselves, see who we really are, see if we can get some help from God to get there.
I know. It's like our plans, like his plans, eh?
Oh, that's the difference.
Whoa. Anyone getting convicted right now?
Nobody wants to be under God's control. Most people don't want God in their face all the time. They want to be themselves some of the time. Be free some of the time. Well, you don't know God very well.
Exactly. Apart from me, you can do no good thing.
Well, but if you knew God,
yeah,
you wouldn't want to be 1 inch further away from Him ever.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, you've got the wrong perspective of God if you're thinking that. Yes. Wow. There's another holy recalibration going on here, guys. You feeling it? I'm feeling it.
His sovereignty is actually my favorite quality of Him.
Yeah,
Most people just try to handle it, try to tolerate a certain amount of it. Yeah, but it doesn't quite, fit. And hey, but that's our hope. That's our hope. We have a lover who's actually capable of loving us, changing us, fixing us, and saving us.
That's a huge difference to someone who's incapable.
He's capable of saving us.
Yes.
Otherwise, he's not.
Yep. Wow. That's huge. That's huge because you don't want anything. You don't want something that's weak and powerless and.
I want a God who's able to look after His own reputation.
Yeah.
I want that. I don't want Him to wring His hands, hoping he can find some friends who can work it out. Be His PR agent.
Yeah. Man, God is happy to take the lower seat, isn't He? Gosh.
Yes.
He's not worried about His reputation at all, is He?
That's another thing about leadership.
He lets people trash Him and talk bad against Him, and He just loves them anyway.
No great leader in the Bible tried to be a great leader.
Whoa!
Not one.
Wow, quote unquote Rolland Baker. No great leader in the Bible tried to be a great leader.
Didn't even want to be a leader.
Wow.
Moses,
Oh,
Joseph, Daniel. And when they did, they got rebuked, like Peter. They're arguing who's going to sit at his right hand and his left hand.
Yeah.
Jesus had to say, no.
It's not about that, guys. He's being like the world.
He was the greatest as a servant of all.
Whoa.
Actually, the word there is slave of all. Wow. If you want to be really great, be everybody's slave.
Another T-shirt. If you want to be really great, be everyone's slave.
I mean, to be the very greatest.
Now you can't put Rollins over that.
The very greatest.
That's Rolland, the very greatest.
Just
like,
be everybody's slave.
not like sort of great, or great, but the greatest. Be everybody's slave. Oh my gosh. Wow. Heidi's like that, isn't she?
Yeah, she pours herself out.
She does.
She just pours herself out.
She's unbelievable.
That's her life. She shows people what love looks like.
She really does. Wow.
I just want to draw people closer to Jesus.
Yes. Without any hurry.
A lot of people
hurry.
do a lot of good things, but they're not drawing people closer to Jesus. And when you go down deep into their hearts, you find out their motives aren't what people think they were. Only Jesus has pure motives. So if you want pure motives, He's going to have to completely take over.
Does anyone want that? Just put up your hand right now. I just feel like an open heaven. Put up your hand right now if you want Jesus to completely take over, guys. Just put up your hand and receive that. I just feel like Roland's just opened something.
And that's not the worst thing that ever could happen to you.
That's the best thing to get out of you. Whoa.
I've come a long ways. When I was a freshman in college, my worst fear was that God would call me to be a missionary in Africa.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah.
God's sense of humor.
The whole idea in those days was God was going to make you do something you don't want to do. But that is not sovereignty. People misunderstand sovereignty.
Come on, this is really important, guys.
Sovereignty is God Himself giving you a whole new heart, making you a new creature so that you think like He does. You agree with Him. You don't contend with Him. You agree with Him. You're not trying to get Him to do things. You're not trying to persuade Him to be as compassionate as you are.
Yeah.
Real intercession is becoming more like Him,
Wow.
joining Him, expressing
Yes.
the same things because you enjoy expressing what He enjoys expressing, and so you express it to Him. prayer should be a flow of love toward God, not a big fight with Him, trying to get Him to change His mind.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, there's another t-shirt. Prayer should be a flow of love towards God, not trying to get him to change his
Not
mind.
just a to-do list, not
Right.
just a command list.
Exactly.
It
Wow.
doesn't have to be words. It could be everything. Deep flows of feeling and thoughts and understandings that can't be put into words. Meditation, contemplation, beauty, music, art, prayer is everything. It's your whole it is a relationship with God.
Wow. Here, another one.
It's
Prayer is everything. It is relationship with God.
It's
Rolland Baker,
not
not
just
t-shirt.
a way to get a miracle or get God to do something.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Whoa. Gosh.
So, in northern Mozambique,
Yes. Tell us about what's been happening with. First of all, we're going to go into this more with Heidi. We're going to do some podcasts with Heidi as well about this. But Idai, cyclone or hurricane Idai, smashed into Mozambique. Or was it March or April? And hit central Mozambique. And it was devastating. And then a month later, or was it 6 weeks later? Kenneth.
Yeah.
Kenneth hit in the north. And after we were reeling and just trying to get relief in and do so many things, bang.
Well, here's the picture. Before these cyclones came, the people in the bush in Mozambique, where 70% of the people of the country live, they live in the bush.
70%
Mud stick houses with dirt floors and an iron pot, and that's it. That's all they have.
Open fire for cooking.
Yeah, that's it. They're already barely surviving. They're already, they can only farm what they can scratch out in their backyards. They don't even have an iron plow, a rake
They're using bamboo.
to till the ground. Water is maybe hours walk away. Any kind of muddy water in the hole in the ground.
Gosh, we need to get even implements to these people. Hey,
Yeah, they need implements. All they really want is a
some technology
bucket,
for farming.
some implements, and some seed. That's the ultimate care package for a Mozambican bush guy.
And a solar bomb.
Yeah, and the solar bomb, of course. But those are so exciting. They would rather have solar Bibles than food.
So, but it's the word of God.
It's the word of God.
In their language, in their heart language.
So these people are barely surviving. Half the country would die without foreign aid. It's the Mozambique is because of fraud and theft and disaster and circumstances.
That's great role modeling from European colonialism. There was no greed in that, was there? In colonialism, we didn't bring a philosophy of greed and get as much for yourself as you can and keep it all for yourself. We didn't do that as a Western world.
Basically,
Did we?
because of bad politics, bad governance, corruption. The country was already in dire straits. The foreign debt was huge. Can't even pay the interest on that foreign debt. So right when you just can't imagine a country more in need, here comes the worst cyclone in the recorded history of the Southern Hemisphere.
So I died, hey, the first one.
He died.
You died.
Yeah, it wasn't just bad, it was ridiculous. Not only because of the high winds, it destroyed 90% of the second biggest city in Mozambique,
Beira.
It just took roofs completely off. Just blew sheet, a lot of the roofs are just tin roofs, and it just blew the sheet metal right off, sailing through the air at high speed, decapitating people. Just it was just ridiculous. All phone lines down, all communication down. It destroyed 2,000 fishing boats, in the harbor.
Oh my gosh.
But the worst thing was how widespread it was. Those cyclones are very concentrated, and they destroy a small section. But this thing brought heavy torrential rain to an area hundreds of miles across.
And it ended up in Zimbabwe, didn't
It
it?
ended up in 3 countries: Malawi, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique.
I mean, I just found the other day there was so much rain in Zimbabwe that the mountains started collapsing and falling down, mudslides.
And it's so far out there, there's no roads. There's only one main road between Zimbabwe and Beira. But these villages are on footpaths, way out in the bush.
Oh, yeah.
And so here they are, cut off, their farmlands completely flooded, unreachable. You couldn't plant anyway. They still can't really plant because the ground is so wet. But you can't get seed to them. You can't get food to them. You can't get clean water to them. And all the aid agencies in the world were there in Beirut. I was there, with our plane.
Yeah, they set up a base
Yeah,
there.
and they had maybe 20 helicopters. And
Did they use our base in Dondo as part of it as well?
Yeah. And that was a headquarters for stockpiling food and all of that. But
You couldn't work out.
20 helicopters, 20 little helicopters. They can only carry 300-400 pounds at a time. How's that supposed to feed? 3 million people were affected. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people were completely unreached. We just had a little bunch of little helicopters, and they could only go out maybe 100 miles around Beirut, or not even that, with little bits of food. But we're talking about 3 million people. It was so huge. I was there in Beirut talking with the head of the United Nations Office for the Humanitarian Aid Administration. He said, we don't know what to do. The scale of this humanitarian crisis is greater than anything we've had to deal with before.
Wow.
It wasn't military, but in terms of need and emergency disaster, it's up right there with Syria and Yemen. We've never dealt with anything so big. They said, we don't have any answers. They don't have a way. Even with all the aircraft that flew in and all the helicopters, and the big trucks could only go down the main highway in a few places. And around Beirut, to the west of Beirut, there's a big river there that comes out into a big river delta, very muddy.
Same base.
But the villages were 20 to 30 feet underwater. We're trying to get a hold of every boat we can find, but 2,000 of them were destroyed.
Gosh.
In other words, there's no way to describe. And after a couple of months, these big agencies just left because it's only a 2-month commitment. But we are the ones that had people on the ground.
Yeah.
With all our hundreds and hundreds of churches.
Churches that you planted.
And we have the people, we have the pastors, the leaders. And so what we did was spend most of our time encouraging and helping the pastors. And they were amazing. We gathered a group of them in Dondu at our base there. And they themselves lost their huts and their houses. They lost everything. That kind of wind blows, everything gets blown away.
Yeah.
Not just the house, the roof, but the walls, the chairs, the tables, the shoes, the kitchen utensils, the pots.
Everything.
Literally. They are standing there with the clothes on their back, and that's it. But they were so thrilled in our meeting. Their faith in God was so strong, they were thrilled to be alive, that they were there to help. Wow. And they just gave their lives to do whatever's necessary, even though they didn't have anything but what they were wearing on their back.
Yeah.
No prospect of food. Gosh. Now here's the thing. What do we do for food? There's no clean water. This is all,
I know, it's
so
all dirty.
It's all the
spoiled.
garbage and the sewage and the decayed bodies and the dead animals and it's all floating in the
and
water.
most toilets are open toilets.
It's all just,
aren't they? So they fill with water and everything's coming out of them.
There's bodies floating in the water. There's it's just sewage. It's and what about food? They can't replant because the water is just soggy wet. The seeds would just rot in the ground.
Exactly.
So that's the situation now, after the rest of the world has totally forgotten. And so I'm sitting there in Dondu wondering what on earth can be done about, say, 1 million people in Mozambique that are desperately out of food and clean water and medical care. I'm thinking, if a cyclone like this ever hit Pemba, we would be finished. We are so happy, we are so fortunate that a cyclone like this did not hit Pemba. What if something like this hit Pemba in northern Mozambique? What would we do then? They don't even have cement buildings. It's just, it's nearly all just mud stick houses.
Sticks and stones.
So a month, 6 weeks later, it hits Pemba.
Kenneth. gosh.
Cyclone Kenneth hits Pema. And actually, the heart of it hit just north of Pema, about 100 miles. But that was Category 5, 180 miles an hour wind.
Oh my gosh.
When we flew it over the villages later, it was like an atomic bomb had gone
I
off.
know, I've seen some of your photos.
Nothing standing.
Some of your photos are on Iris social media, aren't they? If you want to look on Iris Global.
I mean, you can't
Iris.org,
stand
Iris
a
Global.
wind like that.
Instagram.
Our plane flies at 180 miles an hour, and we have a little window there just to get some air when we're on the ground. So I open it and stick my fingers out a little bit. Oh my gosh, you can't believe what kind of wind. 180 miles an hour. You can't stand. You can't. It's just, I mean, it blew over brick walls. It blew over huge trees, massive, huge trees. Stripped off all the leaves, broke it, laid it out flat. Nothing survives.
Can't believe that. Just 6 weeks later.
Yeah, just six weeks later, and we're thinking, God, is that necessary? Could you have stopped that? What was that all about? Is it our fault? Did we fail to pray? What's going on here?
Yeah.
What is the gospel? What are we supposed to tell these villagers? And this particular area along the coast with the running yard that the big aid agencies didn't want to deal with, so they left it to us. That was mostly 100% actually of another faith.
Yeah.
But they actually have a lot more smarts than a lot of people in the church. They could figure out, hey, we need to change. This religion of ours isn't working.
Wow.
Everything we thought is not
Lining up.
is not on.
Yeah.
We need salvation here. We need something. We need
Forgiveness.
We something. We need to repent. They don't even know who to, but they started to figure all this stuff out, and we showed up, and that's not easy. They're way up there, along the coast, no roads. There's only one main road, and it's not along the coast. So we have a 10-place plane that can carry 50,000 pounds of stuff.
The Kodiak.
Yeah.
Look it up. It's
So
amazing.
Kelly, our other pilot,
Roland was one of the consultants on
we have
designing this plane.
two pilots, and we started ferrying supplies, rice and beans and cooking oil and medicine and a few things. We were scrambling. Our staff was going all over the place, all over the country, trying to find everything we needed to get to these villages.
When you're starving, rice and beans with a bit of oil is like king's food.
Oh, they were so starving. We gave huge bags of rice and beans, and they started chomping on those immediately. They couldn't wait to cook them. They're just eating raw rice and beans. They were so hungry, living on jellyfish and crabs and whatever they could find. Coconuts. But we had to fly our plane over and over and over every day to this big island called Eagle Island.
Yeah, Eagle, yeah.
It takes 20 minutes to fly there. We sent a boat there from Pemba once. It was going to take them 10 hours. They gave up. Our plane could do it in 15, 20 minutes.
Come on, Jesus.
So,
and it can carry some stuff.
If we didn't have that plane, we couldn't do much of anything.
Thank you, Jesus.
So we started flying.
Thank you for supporting that plane, guys. You did it in Bethel Church.
So
for supporting getting that plane.
We started flying that plane all day, every day. Sometimes 10 flights in a single day.
Wow.
And we just go back and forth. We could fly it in our sleep. We just said, okay.
Autopilot, mate. Autopilot.
But that was still, that was an island where we could transfer all the food
And we've got some land there now, don't we?
There was a lot of refugees there. We have land there. We have a base there. The island was so destroyed that finally the administrator has given up on being able to help the island in any way. So they gave Iris a big plot of land right on the beach, right on the ocean. Huge, beautiful piece of land that's now ours. We can build a base there.
So good.
And they were close to us for years and years. Didn't want anything to do with us.
Exactly.
Now we're just on their good side. I can't believe it. Because we're the only ones that showed up. Well, from that, island, we transferred the food to these big local dhows. You know, those are big wooden fishing boats.
Yes.
Very slow. We chugged through the water over the high seas, you know, for an hour or two
To get to all these coastal
to
ports.
get to the coastal villages.
Yeah.
But there's tide, there's coral reefs, all of that. And so we had to transfer the food into little boats from the big boat. We come into the villages and everybody's screaming and yelling and jumping and laughing because, you know, food. And after a while, it became solar Bibles. They're all excited. But they're more excited about the solar Bibles than the food.
Come
we
on.
pull into shore
The
and
real-
all the
it's the
kids
real food.
all the kids come running out on the sandbars, you know, and they're all jumping up and down. Mama Ida, and she jumps off the boat and wades in, and everybody's just gathered around her like the Pied Piper, and they're following her back to the beach, and everybody's got their white faces from, you know, fresh seashells to look pretty.
Oh yes, the Mozambican mud masks,
Yes,
the
yes.
white mud.
Anyway, and all their leaders are all gathered around listening to the gospel. They really are listening now. They are listening now. Like I said, trouble brings revival.
Wow.
This brought this. I mean, now that whole area, the whole tribe is open to the gospel. They can't wait for us to come back every time. And they're listening to these solar Bibles. You know what happens when these oral cultural people listen? They remember
Yeah. Wow.
because they don't read, and so they remember what they hear. We come back a month or two later, and some of them have already memorized entire books of the Bible, whole chapters, whole books. They just because that's all they do is listen. They can just quote it.
Unbelievable, the power of the Word of God.
Yeah, and they want to know all about Jesus. They just tell us more, tell us more, tell us more.
Of course.
But still, here's the challenge. They still can't farm. They still can't get their farm started again. Nobody else is coming to help. They do have fish, you know, seafood.
The coastal ones, but not the
Lost
inland ones.
a lot of their boats.
Yeah, that's-
But as far as, you know, even rice and beans, there isn't anything. There's no, they can't get their farms started again. And that's for a long time. Now, the farming situation is what's so serious in the central and northern Mozambique. There is a breed of rice and cornmeal, you know, mainly that
Yeah.
grows quickly,
Yeah.
but it doesn't reproduce itself. You don't get any seed out of it.
Oh, what?
It's fast.
It's genetically modified,
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
genetically modified. You can get it in 6 weeks or so, but it's not the
It's not self-sustaining.
not the solution. But the good stuff takes 6 months to get a good crop.
Oh,
It-
wow.
yeah.
That's a conundrum right there, isn't it? What do you do?
So the food situation is just still dire.
Gosh.
Now that could be a terrible situation, but I actually think God is in control, not us. He has purposes and plans.
And he has
The thing
eternity.
about Christianity is that around the corner, God has something up his sleeve that you can't predict.
T-shirt. God always has something around the corner that you can't predict. Come on.
That's been
Rolland
true of
Baker.
our support all these years. We get down to the last few days and we're just desperately behind.
Yeah, you've walked by faith financially, haven't you?
We have never
You've never asked for money.
appealed for help to get out of an emergency.
No.
An emergency is what it is, an emergency.
Yeah.
But all these years, things keep happening around the corner that we didn't expect. It just keeps happening. But also my attitude is if nothing happens and God slows down and shuts down, we're not going to borrow. We're not going to beg. If God didn't like it, let's do something else.
So good, Rolland.
We're not going to get in debt. We're not going to beg. We're not going to raise. We're not going to issue.
Well, that's another whole podcast. We're going to do a podcast on debt.
That'd be a terrible thing. You take all these pledges and all of a sudden your whole ministry goes down. You know, World War III comes or something, you're stuck.
Yeah. It's not about the money, is it?
Getting to debt's a terrible situation. Plus, you can't really say your mind to people who are supporting you.
Yeah.
You can't feed them the straight dope because you don't want to upset them.
Yeah. Wow.
The thing about not expecting anything out of whoever you're preaching to is that you can say whatever you want.
Whoa. Did you hear that?
You're not trying to get a response.
Oh my gosh, it's freedom.
God brings the response.
Yeah, you're not
He
being
brings the
shamed.
conviction. He brings the change.
So
We
good.
can't do that. So I
So
tell people, look, I can't make you love Jesus. I can't turn you into a mystic overnight. I don't know how to, you know, make you pray for hours every day and think that's the best time of your life. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just standing here talking. My only hope is that God will take these words and use them to get you.
Come on. He's getting me. He's getting you. He's getting me. That's for sure.
But I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put faith into people, but especially put love for Jesus that exceeds any other love.
Yes.
Most people pray and worship because they hope that this God they're praying to can and will give them what they really love. He's the source of what they really love,
Yeah.
which is not Him.
Yeah.
So that's why people come running forward for prayer, for finances, for a wife, you know, for a job, for healing. That's what they really want. And they know this God can give it to them if He wants to. So somehow they have to persuade Him to do that.
Wow.
But that's not Christianity.
No.
Not Christianity at all. Christianity is a love affair of a person.
Gosh, forgive us for getting it so wrong.
That person is more valuable than my healing, than my budget, than my family. That's just a fact. A lot of people don't like that. But that's okay because I'm not trying to get invited back again. So.
It's so good, Roland. Oh my gosh. So we gotta continue to pray, and we're gonna continue to work with the people in North Mozambique.
Well, yeah. Right now, without knowing what is right around the corner from God, it looks ridiculously difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, impossibly difficult. How are we, even with our airplane and local boats, supposed to keep all these villages going indefinitely?
And that's not even the
Because
villages
nobody
in
else
central Mozambique that's still struggling.
that's not even. We're still.
The 3 million.
That's
You're
not-
talking just the north.
Oh yeah, all those remote people down in the central region. I don't even know how many of those people are still alive. Nobody does. They don't have phones out there. They don't have cell phones, satellite phones. We don't even know what has happened.
Jesus.
Hundreds of thousands of people out in the bush. I mean, at first we tried with all our helicopters. We just tried to go as far as we could,
Yeah.
find out. But we can only go so far. The area is much bigger than that.
Yeah.
So in the northern Mozambique area, now would be a really good time for revival. Because
Yes.
we're really in trouble.
We're getting going for our masters
so far
and PhD in trouble here.
But so far we've seen an entire tribe open up like we've never seen before.
Praise Jesus.
And that was what was right around the corner we didn't expect.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know about that. That's so encouraging.
Several times we've had food multiplied and, you know. But one thing I know is God is not panicked.
Such a good word. That's another t-shirt right there. God is
Because-
not panicked.
I don't think he feels out of control.
No.
But some people do. You know, some people have the theology that God couldn't help all of this. He's as stretched out as we are.
That's pretty crazy.
If that's the case, you know, it doesn't look good
No.
for the world.
No.
Some people would say if God's in control, he's doing a bad job.
Yeah.
Because look at the world.
But they don't understand his ways.
What the world doesn't understand is we need to understand how much we need God, which most of the world doesn't have any clue about.
Exactly.
It's kind of like God saying, okay, you don't think you need me much, go for it.
Yeah. See, how's that working out for you?
Yeah. That's serious stuff.
Yeah. That's deep.
Underwater?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a good thing we can laugh too. People ask me, Rolland, how can you laugh when all this disaster is going on? We wouldn't still be here. The joy of the Lord is not only our strength, it's our energy.
Whoa.
And I learned that from the persecuted Christians in prison in China.
In China, yeah.
If you don't have strength and energy, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your strength and energy? The joy of the Lord.
Whoa, come on.
That's why I take the joy of the Lord very seriously.
Okay,
Very
quote unquote. I take the joy of the Lord very seriously. That's a T-shirt for
very
Rolland. Send it to him.
seriously. Without it, we're dead. There's no reason to live even.
Exactly.
Who would want to be saved if you're not happy?
Exactly. Wow. So good.
Yeah. Being delivered from sadness to joy is salvation.
Yeah.
But it would still be lonely and pointless without a person. That's Jesus.
Yeah. And that's reflected, isn't it? Isn't that relational stuff reflected even in our own families of how important are our own families to us and the relational aspect. There's like an authenticity that comes with relationship, isn't there?
Yeah, it's relationship. And I
Rather
love
than numbers or chains of
nature and the
command.
outdoors and the beauty all around us and all the creativity we see and everything, but I need a person.
Yeah, we all need a person.
We need a person. I love sunsets, but I'm not really in love with sunsets. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You need a person. I need the person who made the sunset.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with signs and wonders. I'm in love with the one who does them.
Yeah. Whoa.
I'm not in love with prayer. I'm in love with the one I pray to.
Come on.
I'm not in love with worship. I'm in love with the one I worship.
Yes.
Same with everything.
It's so simple, isn't it? It's a simple.
I'm not in love with anything in the world. I'm in love with the God who created it. Whoa. I mean, a beautiful beach in Hawaii, that's nice, but without God, it's just a beach.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I do like those beaches better than Australian beaches.
In Hawaii?
Yeah, there's no flies, there's no jellyfish, there's no sharks, there's no riptides, it's warm.
Yeah, Hawaii is pretty nice. I must admit. It's warm too. That water is amazing.
Oh my gosh, it's perfect. But you know what? The water that's perfect in the world is Pemba water.
Oh yeah.
Pemba water. No sharks, no jellyfish, no. It's year-round. It's perfect temperature, clear as glass. On a calm day, it's like the Great Barrier Reef. It's just big, huge 1,000-pound marlin and swordfish, scuba diving, reefs. Oh my gosh. No high-rise hotels. No. You know,
It's pretty perfect.
99% of Mozambique's 2,500-kilometer coastline is undeveloped. Just white sand beaches and sand dunes and islands. The most beautiful islands, the United Nations National Heritage Site. That's the Mozambique offshore islands,
Ah, where's that?
all up and the coast.
Right.
There's a group off Pemba, and there's another group down south off of Vilanculos and Maputo,
Oh yeah.
and they're super beautiful. But only for the rich. They're developed just for visitors from the West.
Exclusive boutique resort.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Well, Rolland, thank you so much for sharing. And we can give, if we give to irisglobal.org, you can, money we're pouring a lot of our resources into helping victims of these two cyclones.
Don't give if you can stand not to.
Wow, there's a convicting word. There's a T-shirt right there. Don't give if you can stand not to.
Give because you want to, and you cannot not give.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, it has
If
to
you're
be.
compelled to help, you can.
I mean, lots of preachers say God loves a cheerful giver, but I'm serious. Don't do it unless you really want to.
Wow, that's a good word, Rolland. Whoa, Rolland, we need prayer again. I need prayer. Can you pray for us again as we finish up the podcast? Just for wisdom in giving, to feel that.
I pray for understanding.
Yeah.
I really pray for understanding for us all.
Yes,
That
God.
we will understand your purposes in this world, understand what your will is in this world,
Yes, God.
understanding what you're up to in this world, what the final result is, and what you're after from us, what you want from us.
Yes, God.
So I just have two prayers. Lord, be merciful to us sinners.
Yes.
And secondly, make us what you want.
Yes.
Just pray that for all of us, Lord, because we're shooting for an ultimate eternal goal.
Yes.
And that's you, Lord Jesus.
Yes.
That's just you. You're our goal. You're our
Yes.
you're our destination. You're
Come
where
on.
That's where we're headed, wherever that is.
Yes.
If you're not there, we don't want to go.
Exactly.
So we just ask you to fix that in our minds and make it actually happen in our lives, in our choices, in our daily living, and make us up to whatever purposes you have for us in this life. Make us equal to the job that you gave us.
Whoa.
Amen.
Amen. In Jesus' name. Guys, how good was that? Wow. Wow. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Papa Rolland, for sharing your heart and all that crazy. We're going to get Mama Heidi's perspective on all the relief work that she was down there doing with Rolland in central Mozambique with Ida and up north with Cyclone Kenneth. So stay tuned for that. Leave some comments below. We love you guys. Be blessed, be encouraged, and Jesus is real. Woohoo! And we've got to love him, and he's there for us. And so yeah, see you guys next week for Iris After Hours. This podcast is presented by Iris Global. For more information or to support the work of Iris Global, please visit us online at irisglobal.org.
You can also text to give. Simply text the amount you'd like to donate to 530-338-3837. Or to speak to someone at Iris Global, call our office at 530-255-2077.
Iris Global is an international Christian mission and relief organisation with a focus on working amongst the poorest of the poor and those most in need.
We hope this podcast has inspired your journey. Thanks for joining us for Iris After Hours.